Hello everyone, welcome to the Kyle Hendrix experience. As you can probably guess, I am Kyle Hendrix, and right about now you're probably wondering, who the hell are you, why are you making a video, and why am I watching your video? Well, in this video, I will tell you why I'm doing this and who I am. To start off, I'll just go ahead and tell you who I am before I get into why I'm doing the video. Like I said, my name is Kyle Hendrix. I was born in Denver, Colorado, May 27th, 1992, so that makes me 24 years old. I'm just kidding, I knew how old I was. I currently reside in Colorado Springs, Colorado, back at home. Yeah, I was born in Denver. I grew up in the Colorado area for about 6 years until my family moved to Tennessee, where I ended up growing up the rest of the way until I graduated high school. Didn't move again, stayed in the same house. Yeah, had a pretty basic childhood. Both my parents were together the whole time. Really great parents, love me to death, love each other to death. And yeah, so at the age of 7, right after we moved to Tennessee, my little brother was born. His name is Taylor Lee. I named him. You're welcome. And he's a really good kid. He's in high school this year. He's doing really well. Growing up into a man. Super proud of you, man. Keep doing your thing, and I'll see you soon. So my childhood in Tennessee consisted of basically sports year-round, pretty much. And then when I wasn't playing sports, I was hanging out with friends, going fishing, playing in the woods, riding bikes, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, basically everything an American kid does growing up. So I had a really good childhood. My friends growing up, I had a very diverse group of friends. They ranged from, your jocks, guys who were always playing sports, to, the hunters, to the skaters, to the nerds. Pretty much hung out with everybody, and I think that just goes back to whenever I first moved to town. Coming from out of town, didn't know anybody. Everybody that grew up in Tullahoma, their parents were friends, so they grew up together, and I was just trying to find my place to fit in. And that trend seemed to carry all the way through high school. Always had a really diverse group of friends. And to be honest with you, I still felt like an outsider, although I had plenty of friends. And then after I got through, all my childhood years growing up in Tullahoma and whatnot, I ended up moving to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Started going to MTSU and found a little bit of trouble with the law. Ended up having to drop out of school and move back to Tullahoma to go to work. Whenever I got to Tullahoma, I started working for my dad. He was a roofer for 35 plus years. He's since left that industry, and he's moved on to something else. But that's what I ended up going back to. Something that I knew. Growing up, that's what I did. If Dad needed help on the job, I was always there. I was always his shadow, and I wanted to be there. It's not like he forced me to or anything. I wanted to be with him. So yeah, I moved back to Tullahoma, and I got into the construction industry. So after about a year or so after being back, I ended up starting my own roofing company and owned that for about a year and a half, 2 years or so, and did really well at it. We kind of caught a lucky break, had a hailstorm come through, and it kind of boosted my company and got me the work that I needed for not only myself, but for the crew of guys that I had working for me. But after all that hail damage, all that work kind of got sucked up, I had to leave the construction industry because we just didn't have anything to do anymore. And I went into the factory world, and that was terrible. To be honest with you, I didn't like it at all. But it is what it is. And then I recently just went from the factory world back to the construction industry whenever I moved out here to Colorado. I'm doing framing. I'm a foreman supervisor for Thompson and Sitz Construction Incorporated, and we're doing all of our work on Fort Carson Army Base right now. So that's just a brief kind of whirlwind of my history, you know, where I was born, growing up, what I'm doing today. Didn't really want to get into that a whole lot. You know, maybe down the line, whenever I make some more videos, I might get into it in a little more depth. I think I probably will, because a lot of the issues and ideas that I have today stem from my childhood and my work history and all that good stuff. Moving on, I just want to tell you a little bit about why I'm making this video, and hopefully more videos in the future if people are interested in watching my stuff. Growing up, I was always more of an empathetic person. I was always very sensitive to other people's energies and their emotions and just how they felt in general. And I've always been able to talk to other people really well. You know, a lot of my friends would come to me for advice whenever they were going through a hard time, and I always felt really good in giving advice. Growing up, I kind of had to grow up kind of quick, so I had a lot of life experience at a young age, and I was able to help my friends who didn't have all that life experience at that age. So I always got a great deal of satisfaction out of that. Also, I've always been able to instantly connect with people. Not all people, but most people. I usually can walk up to somebody, or they approach me, and I can start a conversation, or vice versa, and usually be able to connect with people on some type of level. Also, I've always been extremely interested in helping others and trying to figure out why the human mind works the way it does, why we do the things that we do, and especially in myself, because I've always been a super deep thinker, over analytical, if you want to say, and at times it's torn me apart, and at times it's really come in handy. So I more or less want to understand more about myself and more about you guys, just people in general, and like I said, why we do the things we do, why we think the way we do, why we treat other people a certain way, just life in general. It's very, very interesting to me. Also, in my past, I've had a lot of recommendations on, going into some type of counseling, or, for lack of a better term, social work, just being with other people, working with other people, hearing them out, giving my own feedback from my own experience and knowledge, and, just helping people in general. I've also taken some career aptitude tests that have really steered me in the direction of some type of social work, whether it be counseling or psychology. That's actually the number one thing that's been recommended to me on these tests, is being a psychologist. And I've had some mixed emotions about that. I didn't want to be the guy, sitting in a chair with a patient, laying on the couch right next to me with a pillow behind their head and all that good stuff. Just never really liked that picture. There's always been some type of stigma around social work and psychology, so I've steered away from it, I think, because of that stigma. But now that I've really started looking at myself and looking at what I'm good at and what I'm interested in, I think I would be a fool not to pursue something like this, where I can reach out to people and try to help people with their problems, and in doing so, learn a lot about myself at the same time. I've also wanted to do this to help motivate others. There's been periods in my life where I've had a hard time finding my own motivation within myself to pursue goals or some type of direction in life, and I've always kind of been confused on what direction that I need to take. So if I can help somebody find what their passion is and what they love to do, that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about helping other people find their passion, if that makes any sense. Whenever I sit down and I talk to others and they tell me, oh, whenever we were growing up, our parents told us we could accomplish anything, but look, now we're out here in the real world and we're stuck in jobs that we hate, and the deck is stacked against us and there's nothing that we can do to change it. Whenever I can sit there and say, no, you're wrong, you can still be anything that you want to be, you just have to put in the work. And I see that spark kind of go off in their eyes. That's what gives me satisfaction, is being that force that helped propel them in the direction of their dreams. Because for so many of us, we get caught up in the daily life, the daily grind. And I do this myself. This is one of the main reasons I am making this video, is because I get lost myself in the daily life. And I forget what I'm here for. I forget what I want to do. And whenever I can help somebody else kind of kick back into gear, that's the best way I can put it, switch back into that mode of drive and determination, it gives me a great deal of pleasure. And I think our dreams and our innermost desires, our passions that are, I believe they're built within us before we even realize it, and I think Steve Jobs said this best, trust your heart and your intuition because it already knows what it wants to become. Or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was something along those lines. I believe that is very, very true, because whenever you tap into that passion, that's when you really start to, you feel alive. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm doing something that I love, like right now, I can show you, my hair's kind of standing on end. I get chill bumps whenever I think about it. And whenever I can see that in somebody else, it excites me. And I'm kind of getting off subject here, but I think that passion that's built within us, it's there to develop a balanced society. For some people, their passion might be accounting. For me, that sounds terrible. But, for some people that might be the best thing in the world, and I think it's that way for a reason. It's to help develop our society into the society that we're meant to live in. And that leads on to the idea of community. That's another thing that I want to accomplish, is bringing people together. And by just talking and communicating, that's the only way that we're going to be able to bring people together. Today, in the world that we live in with social media and technology, there's such a separateness between human beings that it makes me sad, to be honest with you, because we're forgetting who we are and what we're here for. We're here to love each other and to be with each other and to help each other grow. And if we don't do that, this world's coming to an end. So in saying that, the world coming to an end, I think there is a better way to live life. I know there's a better way to live life, because the life that we have right now might be a conspiracy theorist, but I think it's engineered for the top 1%. And we don't have to live that way. I believe that there is power in numbers, and that if we all come together, we can make a significant change in the world. And the only way that I know how to do that is, once again, to communicate, I'm also doing this to learn a bit more about myself, as well as, you know, helping to teach you. I believe you can't, and I learned this in AA whenever I was court ordered to go there. You can't hold on to something without giving it away. So if I'm going to continue to learn about myself and to grow and to change and become my greatest self and to become the person that I'm meant to be, I have to give away what I'm trying to attain. And I can only give away so much. I can only give away what I already have. And what I already have is my experience and knowledge. And that's what I'm going to try to do, is try to give you as much of my own experience and knowledge as I can to help you get through life. And whenever you have experiences and you gain knowledge, if you could feed that back to me, please do, because without each other, we're weak. But whenever we come together, we're strong. So yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to give back to you guys. I want to make each other stronger. And I just want to get better, man. I want all of us to get better. The way I see it, we're all bits of stardust. And I'm paraphrasing here. We're all bits of stardust. We're all made out of the same material. We are all living creatures, whether we're an ant or we're a human being. We are all in this together. And if we don't start working together and relying upon each other, it's all going to crumble. We're all going to fade away, and it'll be like we never existed. So, moving on, topics that I'd like to discuss, and I will be discussing in other videos. The first one is human psychology, the way the mind works, why we do the things we do, why we act in a certain way, how we react to situations. I mean, just human psychology in general. That's a big thing that I want to cover. Motivation, I'll probably throw in some motivational videos here and there, some pep talks for your morning to get you going. I know I needed them in my past. I still need them. I still watch them. I follow a lot of the motivational channels on YouTube. And I suggest you do the same if you have something you want to accomplish, because there are days where you're going to feel like shit, where you don't want to go to work, where you don't want to put in the effort, and just listening to one or two YouTube videos can completely change your day. I promise you this. I also want to talk about different ways to live life. I believe it's time that we start living our own lives to benefit ourselves and to help others instead of just benefiting off of other people. Also, I'm going to be talking about the human body and chemical interactions, whether that be the food that you eat, the water that you drink, juices you drink, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever. I mean, anything that has to do with the human body and how it affects you and how you can improve. I'm also extremely interested in theology and religion and just basically belief systems in general, why people gravitate towards certain beliefs, you know, how different cultures have different religions and how they've kind of changed over time and how they have affected the world that we live in today. Another one of my big curiosities is physics and the laws of nature, science, why we exist, why there is anything at all, different philosophies. I'm going to be making a video on culture, different cultures all around the world, how we're different, how we're similar just as a human race in general, and why we really don't have anything to disagree on. I mean, there are plenty of things to disagree on, but whenever you boil it all down, we're all the same. And then the hippie side of me is going to come out at some point, and I'm going to be talking about love, peace, and prosperity. And then just anything you guys want to talk about. That's what the comment section is down below. So feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. I got a bunch of books that I've bought in the recent past that I'm going to be reading on different subjects. Maybe I'll have a book that you want to learn about. Maybe not. If so, I love going to the bookstore and buying new books. So I'd be more than willing to buy a new book and learn about something new, and then just kind of give you an overview on what I read, what I learned, and then I can do follow-up videos on that same subject as I learn more and more about them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my first video of this channel, and I'm really looking forward to doing more videos. I'm actually digging into the meat of things. This first one was kind of tough for me because I'm not the best about talking about myself. I'm better about talking about you, or no, I'm just kidding. I'm better with talking about different subjects, actually digging into the meat and the details of things. Hopefully my future videos will be more interesting than this one. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death, but if you would, just check back with me. Try to post a video a week starting out. I'm working a full-time job, so it's going to be kind of tough. So yeah, stay tuned. If you are interested in watching more videos, please subscribe below so you get a notification. And then like, comment, and subscribe. I need your support, so please, please, please back me on this one. Thank you, and I will talk to you next time.